Hey fellas, I had a coaching session earlier with a support player, and I realized that it's hard to actually explain things, and much easier when things are shown. I had the coaching session for Revenge. What I did, this is a ranked game. I believe it's 4.8 ish average MMR, and what I want to show is essentially the first 10 minutes. And this ended up being a really, really good game, and almost, a perfect game. Most 99% of the games aren't going to be so nice. Essentially, first of all, I had a tri lane. I had the dual support scenario, um, and I wasn't solo supporting, so a lot of the load was shared. Um, the support load. Also, when you've got a tri lane, when you've got two supports, what I'm going to try to show is essentially what the support is supposed to do in a game of Dota, or what is expected out of supports. Um, so usually you need two supports to do all of those things. So
30 seconds
um,
to go.
in this game, all right. So usually, not usually, you need two supports to do all of the things, right? When you've got a solo support scenario, you have to pick and choose. You have to choose to do either one of those things fully, or you have to choose to do both of those things, a little bit of both of those things, which isn't exactly perfect. Now in this game, first of all, that was the first thing, that we had to dual support. Secondly, we didn't have, the offlaner might not have been a very good player. Thirdly, their team composition, their team composition was a bit like, Tinker is heavily focused in on his lane. The Furion could have helped out a lot, but he was really focused in his jungling.
Timer off.
The Pudge, I believe, was stayed bot or something, but he didn't bother us top at all. And the Spirit Breaker, I think he wasn't that good. So it ended up being really a perfect game for me, on the Vengeful Spirit. I was able to do everything uninterrupted, everything that I could have hoped for, everything that is expected from a support player, I was able to do. Now, normally the way you want to play is the two supports. The one support is supposed to be zoning out the offlaner, while the other support does stacks and pulls and controls and runes and things like that. And once you've zoned out the offlaner, then either one or both of the supports should go and gank the mid and put pressure on the other lanes. And then when the offlaner returns to his lane, you go back and you harass him, and you go back and focus on that, on your safe lane. Now, my item build is going to be a bit wacky here, and usually, you don't want to go for a wacky build. I saw the Spirit Breaker in the off lane, so I knew that I could get away with being a very, I could get away with being risky, or greedy. Sorry, is the right word, greedy. Anyway, so I had a Windlace for extra mobility. I had to buy two sets of tangos because Windrunner took all my tangos. I bought one ward and one clarity. Did I buy one ward? I don't even. I think I might not have even bought a ward. I'm not sure. Maybe I did buy a ward. I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, yeah, I did. I did. This is the ward that I bought and I placed it. So this guy bought. Oh, nobody bought sentries. Oh well, I guess nobody bought sentries. That's not a good thing. Normally, if you've got a dual support scenario, one guy should buy sentries, the other guy should buy courier and observers. Now we see the spirit breaker, and we see the spirit breaker, and here's my mistake here in this game. Right, when you play Dota, you naturally expect other people. You have a plan in mind. So my plan going in here is we can guaranteed 100% get a kill on Spirit Breaker. How we're gonna do that? He can charge away. So we have three stuns. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking we have three stuns here. I throw the magic missile. The guy is stunned for 1.2 seconds or 1.4 seconds. I'm not sure what it is at level 1.2 seconds. And then immediately afterwards, the Leshrac has a perfect setup for his stun. He stuns the Spirit Breaker, and then Ember Spirit's got a and Leshrac's stun is what, 1.5? Oh, okay. 2 seconds. Yeah, 2 seconds. So he can stun him for 2 seconds, and then Ember Spirit comes in and he can stun this guy for an additional, not stun, but what's it called? Searing chains this guy for an additional 1 second, and this guy's 100% dead. Now, my mistake here is not checking or communicating beforehand what my allies have leveled up. Right, that was my first mistake. So we go on this guy. I'm like, okay, Leshrac is in perfect position. I throw the stun, and I realize, okay, the guy does not have the guy doesn't have stun. Either way, it's okay. It's not too bad because this thing damages for 40 explosions for 10 seconds, which is 400 damage at level 1. That is just obscene. But this guy's not going to stand there for 10 seconds, right? This guy's going to stand there for maybe 5 seconds. So we're talking about 200 damage, which is still not bad, right? So right here, I'm like, okay, Ember, throw your searing chains. I realize the guy does not even have searing chains. A complete waste of my time and my mana. I mean, it's not a waste of my time. It's just a waste of my mana. Regardless, we managed to zone out, not zone out, harass the Ember. And this is what you want to do. You want to harass the guy. So even if Ember Spirit had not come, we still would have managed. Me, myself, and Leshrac would have managed to do exactly the same thing, except Ember Spirit might have had a little bit more CS. Now I come back immediately and I do the pull. Leshrac is still there. Leshrac is still trying to harass, or is still harassing the Spirit Breaker, still making sure the Spirit Breaker is having a hard time. And this is when I look on the other side and I realize, oh shit, Leshrac isn't even there. You know, he actually ended up going bot. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to help out his offlaner, which is something that he really should not be doing. What the Leshrac should have been doing is he should have been harassing the Spirit Breaker, but it's fine. It's not a big deal, specifically because I'm gonna do a stack pull, which means that I'm gonna deny this entire creep wave, and that's what I do. So it's okay if Leshrac went bot, not the end of the world. It's completely fine. So right here, don't CS lull me, but I did manage to get a couple of CS, I guess. Oh, one creep died and I got that CS. So good job. Anyway, it's hard to get first CS. It's hard to get CS on a support hero. If you can, it's fine. If you can't, it's also fine. But what you definitely need to do is make sure you get the XP. Now, I did get the double stack there, but because of the both the creep camps both the camps that spawned there, they're both really strong. And they only one of them died, and my entire creep wave was wasted. Now the thing is, it only spawns every 2 minutes, so I'm okay. I can go and pull another wave. But what I didn't want to do is pull right now because I saw that Ember Spirit has three of the enemy creeps, and he's either gonna have to pull them all the way back into the tower, in which case he's gonna miss CS, or he's gonna have to stay there and tank them up, in which case he's gonna take a lot of harass. So I didn't want to do that, so that's why I didn't pull. So I thought, okay, what I'm gonna do is I will pull after a few at the 15-second mark, 2 minute 15 seconds, and right now I'm gonna go and harass the Spirit Breaker. So that's what I'm gonna do. I go over there, and Spirit Breaker makes a bit of a mistake, makes a bad. Never mind, never mind. That's not the point. All right, I harassed the Spirit Breaker, zoned him out, not zoned him out, made him leave the lane, and this is where I was like, oh, I want that 100 gold, or not 100 gold anymore, it's 50ish gold anyway. Anyway, my purpose of going back into the lane was to make sure that Spirit Breaker leaves that lane or gets harassed, and that's what happened. So he got harassed, he has to go back now. Leshrac at this point, he essentially he should have stayed in this lane. He should have been harassing the Spirit Breaker. He should have been every time I come back from the pull. We should have been trying to get a kill on him. But at the end of at the end of the day, Spirit Breaker isn't getting levels. I should have this at the XP per minute, and this is why I was saying the Spirit Breaker, their offlaner was probably not that great. He's not getting a lot of levels, and I've got this double stack here, so as soon as I take this, I will actually go right above Spirit Breaker, which is really fantastic. Leshrak is making space, doing stuff. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm just assuming that he's having a presence in other lanes, which is great. So after this camp, after I cleared these camps, and I get a little bit of gold as well. Okay, here we go. So Spirit Breaker, because Spirit Breaker knows that I've done a pull, Leshrak ends up coming to this lane at the perfect time, and this is essentially what would have happened if Lesh had stayed in this lane as well. Anyway, so now finally, Lesh has done. Ah, shit, Lesh still doesn't have stun. Regardless, Ember at least, thank God, has his Searing Chains. Um, and Okay, so this is still not that time. I keep forgetting. So this, if Lesh had leveled his stun, this was the second kill on Spirit Breaker that we could have had, but still not the end of the world. Not a big deal. Spirit Breaker is once again, the offlaner is once again out of the lane. Spirit Breaker is level 2 at 3 minutes in. Ember Spirit is level 4. I am level 2, and Leshrak should be level 2 as well. So we are doing fantastic. If you look at the average, myself and Leshrak are at the bottom, but Ember Spirit is doing really, really great, and our offlaner is actually doing phenomenal. Like, look at where our offlaner is, and look at where their offlaner is. So this is telling you that our offlaner is actually doing a great job. Their supports are doing a poor job, and what do you call it? Uh, yeah, and our supports are doing a great job in the you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so at this point, right, 3 minutes in, I cleared this. All right, let's go back. So this one idiot creep survived, and that was because Spirit Breaker came and interrupted me. So I realized at this point, okay, there's one creep there. I go over there, I see that one creep there, and I'm like, ah, shit. I can't pull, I can't stack. Well, can't stack anyway, but I can't pull, and because Spirit Breaker came over there, I couldn't kill this guy. So now what I'm gonna do is, I still want to pull because the wave is gonna start pushing out. I can see already the wave is pushing out. So I want to pull. So if you notice, I've stacked this twice. I've pulled this, I've cleared this, I've cleared two of these small camps, and now I'm going to pull this large camp immediately afterwards. And all the while, I'm not needed in any other lane. So this is also what is really lucky. And this is something that, another positive thing about this is that the um, Leshrak, right now, I said to Leshrak, go mid, go mid, go mid. You have TP, go mid. So I don't have to go mid. Lesh can go mid. Of course, it ended up. We completely, forgot that there is what's his name, Furion in the game as well, and Furion ended up TPing there and having a little bit of good luck in the mid lane. Anyway, so I got the pull, denied an entire creep wave once again. Spirit Breaker at this point is left to, I don't know what he's doing. Is he jungling? What is he doing? Oh, he's standing here leeching. Oh no, he was in base. So Spirit Breaker can't do much. Right, so I go over here. I take the rune. Leshrak is helping the mid laner out. He's supposed to control this rune, and I got the rune. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna take my boots, and then I'm gonna ping. I hope I ping, or maybe I talk to this guy. I'm like, all right, let's go on the Spirit Breaker. Let's kill him. He preemptively threw out the Searing Chains. It's completely fine. We get a kill on Spirit Breaker, and that's it. Now I want to go back to stacking and pulling. Unfortunately, all the camps have been cleared out. At this point, there's nothing much I can do. Grab a
Radiant's
TP, I
top
grab a
tower
few
is in
items,
bad shape.
and now I want to go and
The
prepare
seas of war.
to do another pull. Let's see what I do here. I should just stand there and wait.
Radiant's top
There's
tower
nothing
has
much for me to
taken
do
a
at this point.
beating
I
from the
all I
Radiant
all I can do is
structures
just
I
stand and
carry.
wait. Clarity up, just stand and wait, and yeah, ward. So if you notice the warding, um, my first ward is here, and I want another ward. This ward is about to expire in exactly 1 minute. 1 minute? Half a minute? Half a minute, yeah. So this ward is about to expire in half a minute. I want to have another ward around here. I know there's a pudge, so I need a ward over here. This ward actually accomplishes two things. In this particular game, it accomplishes two things, right? It accomplishes so if pudge TPs here, we will know so that we don't get hooked suddenly, surprise, whatnot. Second thing, if Spirit Breaker charges mid, we can see. If Spirit Breaker is charging top from base, we can see. Of course, if Spirit Breaker is somewhere here and charging top, we won't be able to see, but you can't just ward up the entire map. So with this one ward is accomplishing a lot. And even when there isn't a Spirit Breaker or Pudge, you want to have this ward for occasions, similar occasions. For example, if the mid laner is coming top, or if somebody TPs to this lane, or if the off laner is going down. There's no point, there's not much point putting a ward in lane anymore, like the initial ward, because now you are not, zoning out the offlaner anymore. You don't really need to keep track of the offlaner as much. This guy Leshrak placed a ward earlier here at the beginning when he TP'd bot. That ward has expired. That's actually weird. That ward might have been dewarded actually. So at this point, Leshrak should, or Underdying, one of these guys should put a ward somewhere in the bot lane. Anyway, so I know the wave is completely pushed out. Once again, I'm looking at two things. I'm saying I can either go here and pull the next wave, or I can harass the guy. And I want to pull the next wave, but I have about 15 seconds. 15 seconds? Yeah, 15 seconds to pull if I want to pull, and 23 seconds to stack if I want to do that. So essentially, to get the perfect stuff off, I have 23 seconds. At this point, I ping this guy, dude, wake up, let's go kill. And we do exactly that. I did not miss that, by the way, in case you were wondering. It did clip him, and we did get a very nice kill. There we go. Went to me, and keep going, keep going. All right. So because it took us a little bit longer than expected. I wasn't going to be able to make it to this camp. So what I do is I just pull this one, and it's completely fine. What I did make a little bit of a mistake here is not this, but I was right clicking these guys. That should not have happened. I should not have been right clicking these guys because centaurs aren't as strong and they don't kill your creeps. What I should have been doing is I should have been clicking these creeps, my own creeps. Keep in mind, now this is the second hard camp that I've taken, and I think two or three small camps I've taken. But essentially, I'm constantly constantly pulling camps. All right, I was thinking of going bot, but I was like, it's just a Leshrac. There's no way I'm going to waste my TP and this pull to get Leshrac to help the Leshrac out. So at this point, I should stack, and that's what I do. I stack this, and I'm gonna pull it right now. Now these guys are strong. These guys are pretty strong, so I should wave this out. There we go. Um, I want to clear this creep camp. I want my creep wave to die, and I want to clear this creep camp. So the only way to do that is if I wave it, and I just want to kill this ice bitch first, and just want to right click her constantly. I would think I wasn't. Was I able to kill these guys? I wasn't. Was I? All right, so I guess I can pull it once again. It's not too bad because my wave ember is all the way to the tower, and come on, there we go. About the pull. Now I can actually take the rune once again. Come on, let's take the rune, and I should be able to make it to the hard camp in time to pull if I needed to. But do I need to? All right, so I don't need to pull once again, but if I needed to, if the Ember had pushed out the next wave as well, I could have pulled this as well. Got more levels, got more farm. 8 minutes in, I'm level 5, doing really really well. Now we find this Spirit Breaker, and once again able to kill him. Okay, here we go. My last hit, got him, clipped him. The what's it called? Medallion helped. I think I had medallion. Pretty sure I had medallion. Yeah, medallion helped out a lot. or maybe I didn't have medallion. Oh, I did have medallion. I just got medallion right now. So medallion helped out. I think essentially it was the medallion that got the kill. There's no way we get the kill without the medallion because it was the last right click, and it was the -7 armor that got that kill. It's pretty amazing. All right, so at this point, I'm like, should I stack and pull or should I just pull? I'm gonna be greedy. I'm gonna stack and pull. Normally, you probably don't want to stack and pull because I guess you can. I guess you can. I mean, at this point, because we were having such a decent lane, and my presence wasn't really required in any other lane, so I kept doing this stacking and pulling. Otherwise, you want to start being so. This is you're entering mid game now, so you want to be with your team at this point. But I am being a bit greedy, and I can afford to be a bit greedy because my team is everybody's doing so well, and the enemy has a Tinker, a Sven, who are not going to do anything at all until they've got decent amounts of farm. They have a Spirit Breaker who's extremely strong early game, but we were able to completely destroy him in the lane. So he essentially doesn't have anything. He can't do anything. And the only thing that they have is a Furion and a Pudge. And honestly, how much can a Furion and Pudge do on their own? So that's why I am completely fine doing what I'm doing, getting levels, getting farm. I am essentially my farm, my XP is almost the same. Their Sven is level 7, and I am level 6 at this point. I'm well nearly level 7. I'm right next to Sven, and let's see. Just for my curiosity, not bad. I'm actually on fourth on the. I'm doing. Oh, I'm right next to Sven when it comes to farm as well. Oh my god, I have 120 difference, goal difference compared to the Sven. I guess if I hadn't missed a couple of these last hits on the creeps, I would have been just as farmed as the Sven. All right, so um, here I forego some of these last hits to go and help out my team. I see shit ton of stuff happening here. I wasn't gonna TP here, but then I saw this guy. If this guy kept going in this direction, I wouldn't have TP'd. Most likely, I wouldn't have TP'd. But when I see him change his direction, now I know 100% I can swap him and kill him. So I TP immediately, and well, I guess I didn't need to swap him, but Tinker turned around, so I swapped the Tinker, and Tinker is dead as well. So once again, really well done by our team, and really good luck for us. Poorly played by the enemy team. And that is the first 10 minutes. And because essentially, what I want to point out is what we, as a support, dual support, what us supports were able to do is we were able to effectively zone out the offlaner, get plenty of pulls and stacks and pulls, get lots of levels and farm. I got almost the same amount of farm as their carry did because our offlaner did a good job and they didn't have good supports. They had a Pudge as support and they had a Fury in the jungle who okay, Fury got lots of farm. Like 10 minutes in, he's got a treads and Midas. That's fantastic. He's actually the top net worth, right? But what happened is the think of it this way: the Furion actually took away the net worth that Sven was supposed to have by going into the jungle, right? And this is why when you go to the jungle with any hero, right, that is very greedy because what you're saying is that the enemy offlane is so weak that your carry is not going to be is going to be unaffected. But in this case, our offlaner was pretty strong, and he was actually able to starve out the Sven. And there's think of it this way: there's a set amount of gold in the game, right? If you pick dual supports, then those supports are actually foregoing some of their gold to make sure that the carry gets all the net worth on top of him. But when you have a jungler, then you're sort of splitting up the gold between the jungler and the carry. And there are times when going jungle is fantastic, is really good, and those times are when the offlaner is really weak, horrible, weak offlaner, right? Heroes like I don't know, Earthshaker, for example. If you've got an Earthshaker in the off lane, you don't need to put more than one support to zone him out, right? But if you've got a support, if you've got an offlaner like a Weaver or any conventional offlaner, your carry is going to get shit on if you don't put dual support there, or if you don't have a carry who can deal with that particular hero. So it's really really important to understand how supporting works and how I did not need to swap there, I guess, because this guy. Oh, here we go. So over here, I was at this point. I was telling the Ember Spirit in team in voice chat, chain him, chain him, chain him, and I'm like, okay, maybe he doesn't have chain, maybe he's an idiot, so I went ahead and swapped him. Anyway, so yeah, so as a support, this is sort of the way you wanna. This is an ideal sort of movement, right? You started the game. Let's go to the start of the game. It was the start of the game. Start of the game, creep wave meets. What you want to do is you want to zone out the offlaner. Once you've zoned out the offlaner a little bit, you have 20-ish seconds to do that. You go and you do the you go and you stack, and then you immediately pull. Now keep in mind one thing: when you pull this wave, if this wave is already here, this wave is going to push towards the tower because your creep wave is missing. So immediately, as soon as you stack this, you want to, or if you are sure you're going to get the stack, you want to tell your carry, dude, start pushing out the wave. Turn your nuke on, whatever you have, just start pushing out, kill the range creep, start pushing out the wave. You need to push out the wave, right? And once the wave is pushed out, then you're okay because the creep wave is going to be over here, and you're completely fine. And the enemy creep wave is not going to come underneath your tower. So that's what I told this guy. And he did he push it out? I guess he pushed it out a little bit, but he didn't push out too much. I guess it's okay that he didn't push out too much because he had 7 tangos and he had a poor man's shield as well. So once you've done the going back to the ideal movements, once you've done the stack, once you've pulled the stack, once you've cleared out the camp, if you can't clear out the camp but you've cleared out the, obviously your creep wave has died, you come back and you start harassing, zoning out the offlaner once again. And once you've done that, it'll be 2 minutes. Go for the rune, and if your stack isn't cleared up, pull it again. Once again, tell your carry to push out the wave. And if the stack has cleared up, then once again, go to this hard camp. Then you can also, depending on the hard camp, you can tell the carry to okay, just pull the hard camp. You don't need. Okay, for people who are advanced, or what you need to. All right, try to go to Dota 2 wiki, find out all the creeps who come into the hard camp, and find out which creeps in the hard camp are strong and which are not. Maybe I'll make a video of the creeps in the hard camp. I'm sure there's plenty. I'm not going to make a video. Go and Google it, dude. Um, and pull this hard camp, single pull this hard camp. And if this hard camp is something like, what's that, clap tomato guy, those are really strong. The skeleton, the trolls are really strong. If it's one of those guys, then tell your carry, dude, start pushing out the wave as quickly as possible. Similar thing to when you pull this camp out. And if it's just a centaur or something like that, then you definitely don't want this guy to start pushing out the wave because it's a really, really weak. It's a really, really weak camp. And then you just rinse and repeat. Essentially, you rinse and repeat. You rinse and repeat. That's all you do. Stack, pull, zone out, stack, pull, zone out, stack, pull. That's all you do. And keep a TP always as a support. If you're mostly likely going to be playing solo support, so always, always, always with your first 50 gold, buy a bloody TP and keep it on you. You saw how quickly in this Leshrac TP bought, and that's because he could, he didn't need to stay in this lane because we were dual laning. And if I was solo support, guaranteed 100%, I would have bought a TP as my first starting item and my first 50 gold. All right, this is wow. Took me half an hour. That's amazing. And thank you for watching, guys. I hope you learned a few things. Obviously, in your games, things are not going to go perfectly, but go into a bot game and practice this. I highly recommend going into a bot game and practicing this. Practice this movement. It took me 50 odd games to get this movement correct or streamlined, and you can do that in if you go to a bot game. You can actually do that in 2 or 3 bot games because in bot games people are not going to be interrupting you, but in regular games people are going to be interrupting you. So it's harder to get it streamlined. So go and practice it in a bot game, and I promise you, your support play, at least the early game, is going to just become so good.